And thank you to Lauren of Impactive Capital for being here. Tell us about the name that you presented today. This is not a new position for you, but from an engagement standpoint, from an activist standpoint, it is relatively new. So what are you looking to achieve with this name?
That's right. Thank you, Leslie, and thank you, Brian. So we presented WEX today. WEX is a $4 billion B2B payments business that operates across a benefit segment, a fleet segment, and a corporate payment segment. And these are high-quality assets. They have recurring revenues, they have network effects, capital-light model. However, the business is stuck trading at about an 8 times forward earnings multiple. Why? Well, it's trading with a conglomerate discount. These are 3 separate segments that don't belong under the same umbrella. And so we are engaged with them. We think the answer is simplify WEX and improve shareholder alignment.
It seems like simplification is a broader theme in the corporate world right now. Now, you're currently running a Vote No campaign on 3 directors. You said in your presentation, this company doesn't need to be reinvented, it just needs to be realigned. So how does getting rid of these 3 directors achieve that goal?
Well, you know, listen, these are good people. The board is comprised of good people. However, the challenge is when you look at the past 10 years, these folks have presided over a 2% total annualized return. And that's simply not acceptable given the quality of assets they are. And so what's on the vote today is really a referendum against this lack of shareholder alignment. Just as a comparable, WEX's closest peer, Corpay, in 2011, these companies had extremely similar assets. They both traded $2 to $2.5 billion of enterprise value, and yet over the past 10 years, Corpay has doubled while WEX is roughly flat. Why is this? Well, when you look at the ownership percentage, WEX insiders, the management team and board, they own about 1% of the company, and Corpay's insiders own 5%. That 5% equates to $1 billion of value. That creates incredible incentive structure and also shareholder alignment. WEX doesn't have that alignment. And as a result, we've seen Corpay's margins that are 20 points higher than WEX's. Their returns on incremental invested capital are 3 times better. We think there's tremendous upside in WEX. It just needs to be restructured, eliminate the conglomerate, and also have improved shareholder alignment by putting an owner, a current shareholder, on the board. But that is not what they're doing with this current meeting.
And a sizable shareholder. You own about 7% here. And I just want to read a statement because we reached out to WEX for comment after your presentation. And they said, quote, "We respect Impactive and look forward to continued engagement." So certainly one to watch there. I wanted to ask you about just the broad state of activism right now, because the world is changing so rapidly. I know there's a lot of engagement behind the scenes in the industry. How is it being kind of an engaged investor in the current environment with the macro picture changing so quickly? And do you expect to see more public engagements, maybe later this year?
Yeah, I think the environment is particularly suitable for activist investors. Why? There's been a lot of volatility. Everyone sees the news, but the volatility creates incredible pricing, and these prices are at most times disconnected from value. And that's where someone who is a long-term, actively engaged shareholder like Impactive can pounce and really take advantage of the mispricings, whether it be trimming positions that have done extremely well and adding to positions like WEX that haven't done as well, or investing in new potential opportunities. So I think there will be the pricing opportunity in the markets create a huge opportunity for actively engaged shareholders. And then you mentioned like the conglomerates, there's a movement to simplify businesses. I think you're going to see a lot of actively engaged shareholders, not just the quote unquote traditional activists, but others speaking out, right? Demanding returns, demanding a voice in the boardroom.